What led you to getting into business for yourself and wanting to create content?
So, I mean, from the time I can remember being young, I've always had the desire to make money. And I would see all these young, ambitious guys in suits and talking big money and talking, big goals. And I'm like, man, this is what I like to be around. So when you don't come from an environment or you're not conditioned to endure that in the beginning, it's hard.
All right, this is the Scout Business segment. I'm here with my man, Stephon Seals. He seals the deal. He had an interview with Callie not too long ago. He's getting into the content. Man, I appreciate you for having me, and let's get right into it, man. I wanted to ask you, how did you start in business? Like, what led you to getting into business for yourself and wanting to create content?
So, I mean, from the time I can remember being young, I've always had the desire to make money. My parents, middle class, we didn't have a lot, but we weren't like going without food. So when it was time to get school clothes and stuff, Pops said, just give me like $200, and my Jordans were like 120.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the IE, in the Riverside area.
Okay.
Corona.
I know that area. I'm from San Bernardino.
Okay. Yeah, my parents moved out there when it was newly developed, like in the early 90s. And then, went to school, junior high school and stuff out there. So, yeah, it started, since young, I've always been super ambitious. My first business I started, is selling candy in school.
What's funny is a lot of entrepreneurs, that's how they start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember I was talking to my mom about it the other day. I would see the ice cream man, and he would pull up outside of the school, and all the kids would go and spend their money over there. So I saved up. At that time, lunch was $1 a day. So my dad would give me $1 every day for lunch. So for 30 days, I didn't eat lunch, and I saved up $30 and had my mom take me to Costco, and then bought a few bags of candy, flipped that, and then became the candy man at school.
Yeah, that was the entry point. I mean, you saw how business worked.
Yeah. So at that young age, I was hooked. For me, when I made my first $100, that was like big to me. $100. I used to think at that age, $5 was a lot.
How old were you roughly?
I believe either third or fourth grade.
I was young, so you're probably like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Already thinking about business.
Already thinking about business, always kept a wad of money in my sock. My dad used to always give me incentives and said whatever I had at the end of the month saved up, he would double it each month. And then after about 6 months, he was like...
It cut you off.
Because it started to compound, and, I wasn't spending anything. So it started young, but if your question is how did I get into sales? I had my first daughter at 21, and... I decided I chose security at first, like finding a safe job. I went and I was working for the state of California at this mental health hospital in Costa Mesa, and was grinding there. I've always been a grinder. We would have overtime, unlimited overtime, and I'm working 16-hour days to provide. Started at 7 a.m. and finishing up at like 10 o'clock at night.
You was killing it.
But
you were young, so you got the energy.
Got the energy to do it. So grinded that, even had a second job on days that I didn't. So I had part-time like 3 days. The days that I didn't work overtime, I went to that second job and did that. So I've always grinded because I've always wanted, nice things and wanted to live a certain lifestyle. So it was always in me. And then after working at that state hospital, I would always go to the HR and look at all the positions and see how much the earning potential and stuff was. I would always look for the money, and it wasn't impressive. You had to go to school and get all these degrees, and these guys that I thought that were in higher positions at the hospital, they weren't making that much. They're making like $70,000, $80,000, which is not bad, but it wasn't gonna afford the life that I wanted.
Right.
So sales, you look up what's a 6-figure paying job on Indeed, you're just going to get so many sales positions that are available. So decided to get into sales. My first company I sold for, we were selling office supplies to businesses. So we'd walk in and pitch them. It was a warehouse-based company. I still remember the pitch to this day.
Were you Were you still in the IE at the time, or did you move?
So I was in Orange County at this time.
Okay, Orange County. Okay.
So let me back it up. The state hospital, that job was in Costa Mesas in Orange County.
Right. You
so
mentioned
there was
that,
an apartment complex next to it, and if you were an employee of the state, you get a discount on the rent.
Oh, so you were.
So
yeah.
I moved in there.
Right.
I mean, at that time, I was married at the time, my first wife, and I had my baby, so it was time to, get out of mom and dad's crib.
Right. So you moved in there, you were doing the state job, thinking that, and again, as a title, that sounds like a good job. You're working for the state, you got, housing right there. But when you were looking at the earning potential, you were like, this is not matching up with what I want out of life. So then you
100%.
decided to get into the direct sales.
Yeah.
And you said it was selling office supplies.
That was the first hustle, selling office supplies.
How did you find that job? How did it come to you, or how did you find it?
So funny enough, my first wife was actually administrator, or she worked the front office for a guy who ran one of the businesses that sold the office supplies. So when I really just started getting tired of the state job, they would have like company events and stuff like that I would go to with her. And I would see all these young, ambitious guys in suits and talking big money and talking, big goals. And I'm like, man, this is what I like to be around.
Right.
So then was like, I asked her boss at the time, like, what does it take for me to come in and sell? And then he got me in, brought me in, and the rest was history.
How long were you, so when you came in, were you killing it right away, or was there a transition period?
I was horrible, and I'm a sore loser. So I'm super competitive.
So when you first coming into the game and you going from a state job to a sales job, what were some of the skills that they were trying to get you to learn? Because usually in sales, there's like a system that they're trying to teach you.
Yeah, they teach you the fundamentals, but more so with sales, it's just really developing your mindset. It's a certain type of mindset that you have to possess. And, you got to get used to rejection. You're going to get way more no's than yeses. So when you don't come from an environment, or you're not conditioned to endure that in the beginning, it's hard. It's like going to the gym. You're going to be sore those first couple of weeks when you first get started. So it was just more so my one of the guys in that sales company, he used to be like, man, I'm going to cut you open and bleed all that employee mindset out of you. All that work for hourly wages, do the bare minimum. This is not my job. This is somebody else's job, so I'm not going to do all that mindset. And I'm going to slowly inject entrepreneurial mindset in you and get you to understand about business and profit and sales. So I just think that company really shaped my mind. I call it the Navy SEALs of door-to-door sales. Because
I think I remember you saying that in some of the Cali, in one of the shorts, but it was the Navy SEALs of sales training.
Sales training, man. We worked 12-hour days, some campaigns Monday through Friday. My last campaign I did there was Monday through Saturday. We're at the office early in the morning, come back in the evening and wrap up, and we just grinded every single day.
Now you would think that with office jobs, or with an office sales position, that offices, they need supplies. You're selling, sounds like more business to business. Mm-hmm. How do you make more money when basically what they need is what they need? How do you?
Yeah, so I mean, the company that it wasn't there was no residual or anything. We got paid based on what we sold that day. So the pitch, we would get our foot in the door with a promotional box of paper. All businesses, this office here uses so much copy paper every single day. So we would get our foot in the door with the promotional box. And then where I was really good at was the other products, the toners for the printers, copy machines, more
everything that's tied to it.
We call it rehash and building up the order. So it was a one-time, and we would get 28% of what we sold that day. So sometimes we would wait for the customer to build up the order, and when it's time for them to order for the entire office, and then we had certain quotas we had to reach on a daily basis. Sometimes we just had to close them for a small amount. But I was more of a rehash guy. I would sit there for an hour or so with the customer and walk out with a profitable order.
So when you said you were a sore loser beginning, how did you build up to be one of the better salesmen, one of the best?
I'm a sore loser, but I don't have a quit gene in me. For some reason, I want to quit. I have those same emotions that everyone else has, but I'm stubborn enough just to see it through and stick it through. So sore loser was, I'm used to, getting my way, and I'm going in the field and I'm not performing. And I was all in my head. I wasn't applying the things that was taught to me. I was trying to do things my way, not really having a student mentality. And it was hard for me to come to the office and face everyone in the office, and I didn't perform. And we had like this ceremony at the end of the day where we get in a circle, everyone would clap, and then they had certain bells that you would ring, and it would represent how much money you made. So it was a end of the day kind of validation. So I'm sitting there clapping, and my sales manager used to be like, get in there, get in there. And if I didn't have no sales, my confidence is down. And that was hard to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
And you're seeing cats killing it or doing their thing, and you're like, I need to get in this.
Yeah.
I need to get in on this.
Yeah.
How long did it take though? Like, how long did you went from, doing your own thing to getting that student mindset? Like,
it didn't take long because it's commission only. So getting kicked in the butt every day, you tend to, either quit.
You figure it out.
Quit or submit and say, okay, whatever you guys are telling me to do, I'm just going to apply it.
Right.
And these guys were closing. They were successful. So it wasn't me. I was just like, I got this. I got my style. Some leaders want to figure it out their own way. It's not a lack of a student. It is a lack of a student mentality, but I actually like that mentality. When I get guys that come into my company and they're stubborn in that way, I embrace it. I like it. Because at least they're trying to take the initiative to figure it out their way to a certain degree. And I know that if I can get them stubborn in that way, in the direction that I want them to be, that we're going to align. But I need that fight back, more so than a person who's just going to come in and just lay down and listen to whatever and do whatever's being told.
You're saying that initial wanting to take it on themselves.
Yeah, so I don't mind it. I embrace it. I don't take it as a sign of anything negative when they come in, because I know I always tell them. So one of my top guys, when I first was training him, he came in with that ego, and I told him, one or two things are going to happen. I'm like, you're going to either teach me something today. I've never seen someone starting a company and be able to sell on their own without any training. And it was an ego hit, because I'm like, this guy doesn't even know who I am. Does he even know whose training he's rejecting? I'm the best in the business. And it's like me telling Michael Jordan, I don't need any basketball tips.
Like Kobe telling Jordan,
I got this, right? But it was fine. So I'm like, you're going to teach me something, or you're going to come back humbled and, you'll be ready to learn. And the latter happened. He came back humbled. I was already up a couple of sales, so I rubbed that in his face. And so I embrace guys who are kind of stubborn that way. But your question was, how long did it take for me? Probably like a week. And this one
that was a fast turnaround.
Yeah, for me to give in. I mean, I went a full week without making
like you said, it's commission, so you gotta figure it out quick.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I tried it my way and it didn't work. Okay, I'm ready to listen.
So how long were you doing that? Like, what was, like, you were in that world and you started figuring out real quick. What made you transition out of that into? Because there's a period where you went from that type of sales to another type of industry. Mm-hmm. When did you transition out of the business to business with the print?
With the copy? So I was in that business for about pretty close to 7 years. It taught me everything that I know now. I just pretty much emulated everything I learned in that business and put it into my own. It's just...
Another question, how was that? Because in sales, I was in sales too, and working those hours, how did that affect your relationship with your wife and the kids?
Well, I said she's my first wife, and it was because of that. I was all about the money, and I was young. I knew nothing I was just trying to do the right thing. Pregnant, had a baby.
You're thinking financially.
Let's get married, but in reality, at 21, 22 years old, I have no clue on what it takes to, be a husband. So I was just thinking about the money and all about the money, and was super invested in this company and building a team and all of that, and just didn't pour in the energy to my relationship.
Because once you started figuring it out, and you said, okay, there's money to be made, and you don't commit to 7 years without something working. Mm-hmm. So obviously it was working for you.
Yeah.
So then when you transitioned out of that, like what was the mindset there? Like what had happened?
So one big reason is my ex-wife at the time moved to Vegas and took our daughter to Vegas. So now I'm driving out there every other weekend, and it's an 8-hour round trip if there's no accidents or traffic. Minimal time with my daughter, and I'm used to seeing her every day. You know, she used to seeing me every day. It was a tough transition to be in that company and work all those hours and then see her. So then I moved to Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a big, that was like I commend you for that, because, you know, a lot of especially us as men, we so focused on work and making money that we tend to put that before our relationships, and even the relationship you have with your daughter. Now, I know it's tougher, you know, the daddy-daughter, you know, dads are closer to their daughters, just like moms are closer to their sons. There's a saying, it's your son is your son until he takes a wife, but your daughter's your daughter for the rest of your life. So
that's the hope.
That's the saying. No, that's the saying. But for you to make that leap of faith, you had to literally leave your company, because were they based out of Vegas too, or
no?
So you had to just
and it was time. I look at it was God's timing. You know, business started going bad at that time. It was just the best time for me to transition. It was where I was supposed to be. And doors had to close and certain chapters had to end for that to take place. And like you said, priority was my daughter in that relationship that I needed to continue to, you know, keep with her. And people always tell me it's an honorable thing, but to me, I don't really look at it that way. It was an easy move.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, like, you know, when you're grinding, you're just so focused on working, and especially if you're not making the kind of money to where that's an option. And not to say that, I like to look at it from both sides. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say that in any situation it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have family here and then leaving, and relationships you build, and then working, and then starting over career wise, it's tough. No matter what decision you make. So, you know, especially if you have like grandparents or so for anybody out there watching, you know, same thing. Like, I'm not knocking anybody, but for me personally, I give you props for that. So you get out to Vegas, you having to start brand new. What do you do? Like, what's the first step when you're moving to a whole new situation?
So I had a cousin that was out there, and he had quit his job. He was like
Wait, but let me back it up a little bit. So now we got the ex. So I don't even want to call her baby mom. I'm just call her ex. Mm-hmm. What did the ex say when you were like, no, I'm moving out there. Like, I want to make sure that I maintain a relationship with my daughter.
No, we're good. She's happy because she knows the effect that it was causing our daughter, you know, to not see her dad all the time, to have games and I can't be there, or practices, or, you know, school. Like, whenever she would have something in school on a Monday, I couldn't make it. You know, I would be back at the office in LA. So she was all for it.
So even though you guys weren't together, she was still rocking with you.
Yeah, we worked it out, and we were okay. And one thing that I admire is we both understood that we needed to do what's right for her. So we've always kept that this entire time, and, you know, it's worked out for us. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. When you can let all the emotions and stuff go and really think about what's most important and focus on what's within your control, you know, it just takes all the BS out.
Right, all the fluff out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you had a cousin, you were like, I got to do this.
So when I first got out there, he had quit his job with PacSun and became a professional gambler or everyday gambler. He'd be like, man, I just need to make $150 a day. So my first couple of months, I tried to tag along with that until I lost a lot of my savings that I had.
What's funny is, what's crazy is you're telling me this, and people are promoting this stuff online. Like, they're trying to sell courses, like, you know, betting on how many points this cat's gonna.
I invested in them programs, all that, and we were just trying to, you know, just get it through gambling. And Vegas doesn't continue to open up all these new casinos because people are beating the odds, and it's just really like I lost. So I was smart enough to not lose that much, but it was enough for me to say, you know what, let me focus and
let me get right. Let me get right. Yeah.
Because I didn't have a plan, and the way that I went out there was I would get my daughter in the summer, and when it's time for her to go, the last time she was just like, we had such a blast, and she cried bad, and I asked her if she wanted me to move to Vegas, and she said yeah, and there was like, what do I say after that?
No, yeah, you had to.
You know, so
from gambling, what now? What, like, you were like, okay, I'm losing too much money. Let me figure out again.
I had nothing, and I knew that I didn't want to do anything down at the Strip because people would tell me that you just get sucked into the lifestyle. You start networking out there, then you're clubbing and all that stuff, and I didn't want to go out there and, you know, not fulfill the purpose of why I'm out there. So Vegas it's not a lot of job opportunities outside of the tourist stuff, unless it's like in the medical field, you're working for a hospital or something like that. So I'm like, the next best thing, I'm like, let me go get a job at the gym and see what that's about. I went to 24-hour fitness and got my foot in with them, but they had just cut the commission out on their program. So I'm going in there just ready to be number one in sales and generating all these accounts, but not making any commission on them. So once I learned the gym game and the pitch and how to close customers, then I transitioned over to Gold's Gym, which now rebranded into a EOS Fitness, and went there and dominated. I was in the smallest gym. It was called Aliante, little tiny gym, no amenities or anything. Our competition up the street had the saunas, the tanning booths, the basketball courts, the pools, had everything, all the bells and whistles. But I was good in sales from the Navy SEALs of sales. When I took that mentality and skill set into Gold's Gym, none of the guys in sales were even putting the effort in or had the skills that I had. So the manager at the time gave me a lead book from like 3-4 years prior, and there was a bunch of names and phone numbers on there. And he just said, call them. And I would call. I started off calling them, and they're the wrong numbers. It's been 3-4 years. Vegas, people move and come and go in Vegas, you know, every month. There are people.
Well, you were new to Vegas too, so
exactly.
That just showed you. And then also too, me hearing your story, it was a wise decision to work for a gym, because think about it. If you're dealing with people that are trying to be fit, you're going to get a lot of people that have their mindsets in the right place too. Mm-hmm. So it allows you to network without you being on the Strip. So exactly. I thought that was a really, because I watched some of your story in the interview with Callie, and we'll get into that. But I thought I just wanted to give you another tip of the hat, because I'm like, man, that was smart, man. You were still able to fulfill your sales position and network and get into a position where you're getting commission. So
100%. And when I'm signing them up, I put in their occupation, see where they work. It allows me to build rapport with them and leverage relationships, you know? So I learned that in sales. So yeah, I went there, and he gave me that book. The funny story is, he gave me the book, and it was dead leads. So I had to be creative, and I would call, and we used to have like a way to get leads. We would put a box and a form to fill out, and you fill it out and put it in the box, and you can win a free membership. So we would put them in grocery stores, chiropractors' offices. So when people come in, they see it and fill it out while they're waiting or whatnot. So I knew that we had those traps and stuff out there, and I kind of positioned and used that with the leads that I had. So I would say, hey, Eric. And they're like, no, this isn't Eric. I'm like, oh man, whoever wrote your name.
It's Brother E.
Yeah. I'm like, whoever wrote the name, the penmanship is off. But someone put you into a drawing to get a free 14-day pass. Is there a reason why someone would want to get you a pass? Oh, it's probably my brother. I was talking to him about working out. I'm like, hey, what are your fitness goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Right? So
see, you're doing a soft open.
Exactly.
Because you're not assuming that that's the person, but depending on what their response is, you automatically go into your pitch.
Right.
But you're saying it from a perspective of like, hey, like, is there somebody that maybe would have entered your name? Because I'm here from, and then you just start getting into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm here from Gold's Gym, and this is what we have going on.
Exactly. So then I don't think.
Hey, y'all better be taking notes. You see, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, man. The manager at the time, I don't think he thought that I would be able to pull it off. So all of a sudden, they're hearing, because I would tell them, when you want to get your pass, come in, ask for Stephon. And so they would come to the front desk and they would page me Stephon to the front desk. And all of a sudden, you just keep hearing Stephon to the front desk, Stephon to the front desk. And I'm just, some guys are doing 1 or 2. I'm doing 7, 8 a day. And
now
crushing it.
Another question for you. Now that we have some, you're giving the viewers a lot of game. But how was it dealing with? Because as men, we're competitive, and so how was it dealing with the other guys or the other salespeople, and you're getting all this traffic? Like, what are they? Are they? Like, how are you handling that? The vibe, so to speak.
So it was good. I was. Again, the Navy SEALs of sales, it really taught me how to build relationships and learn how to gain influence with my peers. So there was no animosity because I was getting it from organic leads that I was creating. Now, where animosity comes into play is there's something called walk-ins. So someone just decides they want to go get a gym membership. They pull up to the gym. They come in and say, hey, I want to sign up for a gym membership. Those go to the general manager. And if he's just giving them to me and giving me favoritism, I feel that's where some of the animosity would come in.
We call it spoons.
Yeah, but I mean, with my skill set, I was overqualified for the position. So the people that I'm like going up against, they're learning from me. They're like asking me for help and listening to me when I talk on the call. And I always give the game freely to everybody. I never try to hide anything or hold anything because, like you were giving the analogy with chicken, I cook my chicken different than you cook your chicken. We can have the same, not recipe, but same technique of how to put it in the grease and in the pan and all of that. But how you season it up is different than.
We were before the interview, I was telling Stephon that a lot of people create content and there's no one recipe. You know what I'm saying? How KFC does it versus Church's versus Popeyes versus Dave's Hot Chicken versus whoever else. Everybody has their own, Juan Pollo and these places. It's all chicken, but how you present it or how you go about doing it is a little different.
Yeah.
And that's what I think when you're your authentic self, that shows.
Yeah. And
the skills that you learn early on, I think, are attributed to. It was a great move. I mean, it was just a smart play. So you're helping you have relationships with the people that you work with. There's no quote unquote like hating going on per se. But you were saying that I remember watching the Cali interview that the general manager, he was the one that was kind of.
Yeah. He, I don't know. I just think sometimes some insecure leaders, it shows. So when I came in and he saw that I held so much influence with people that I work with, members. I was like I was making him look bad because the way that I interacted at the gym was how he should have been interacting with the people and dealing with the people and working with the staff. So I think him looking at that, it was just like he had a problem with it. And that's where I was saying I was shining the master. I came in and I wanted to be the best and display my best. I was trying to move up to a general management position. I was in a sales position, but definitely should have been in a more managerial role. So
48 laws of power.
Yeah, I was trying to come in and show that, and I wanted to get to the money fast. And that was one thing. I know you were asking what's transitioning me to doing my own thing was in that world. It doesn't matter. I have to wait for when they think I'm ready. So I had to see, I was one of the fastest to get promoted to the biggest gym, but I should have been promoted a lot sooner. And I had to let people that were less qualified than me, I had to sit back and watch them get their chance and not do well and fail. And then someone else gets a chance, them not do well and fail. Then it's like, okay, Stephon, here, you're up. When I should have been fast tracked.
How does it feel knowing that, seeing that, and knowing that you have the skill set and still getting passed over? Like, how do you manage those? Because we're people, you know what I'm saying, and we have feelings too. You know, like how do you manage that emotion to say, hey, you know what, like let me just keep grinding and doing what I need to do, but I know I can do a much better job if I were given the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, what I always teach my people is when your goals are high, the negatives and things that you interact, when you're just focused on those goals and the negatives are here and your goals are high and you're just focused on them, you don't really pay attention to that negative stuff. So my main goal was to be there for my daughter and to spend time with her. Of course, I wanted to advance and make more money. But when I was having those tough days or seeing someone get promoted and I've dominated and I felt that I should have got the promotion, I just had to focus on that. Otherwise, it's going to make me make an emotional move, which would have been a bad play. Right. So I just try to I keep my goals high and really focus on those. That way.
And you give it a lot of game. You give it a lot of game. I gotta highlight that. So you have goals that you're focused on. So it's almost like tunnel vision. So then all the little setbacks or little bear traps or whatever is things that can cause us to make an emotional decision. Yeah. You say, you know what? Let me just stay locked down on my goals.
The goals got to be big. If they're small goals, negatives will easily deter you. You know, my daughter was such a massive goal and a reason why. It's going to take a lot to derail me from that. It would have to be me physically fighting at work or something, and that almost happened at the gym.
Right.
And I
I'm saying, like, I have a story too. I don't want to get into mine. I want to really get into yours, but trust me, I know, man. We dealing, we black men. We dealing with the corporate America. Yeah. They got little potholes and hurdles that they want us to jump through, and you could easily make a decision that could derail you, just like what you had said. But having that goal, man, it puts everything in perspective. And my whole thing is it's a lesson you learn, and then you navigate accordingly. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes even when people show you that they don't have the best intentions for you, it's actually a blessing because now you know how to treat them. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, okay, at least I know how to work with you and not give you too much attention and stay focused on what I got to do.
100%.
That's powerful, man.
So I had to learn how to navigate through corporate America, and it wasn't easy. But it taught me a lot, taught me how to be patient more so, and just really sharpen my craft even more. So when opportunity presented itself, I'll be ready to seize it.
So you got the position. You had to see people that were maybe not as qualified get it. They fumble it. Now you got the ball. Yeah. What's happening now?
So, man, I remember the day I walked in the gym, man. It was...
How was it? Did you get a call? Was it like, hey,
I got a phone
you got a
call.
Meeting?
So I got promoted to general manager at that small gym that I was in. And you make more money at the bigger gyms, and plus you have more foot traffic.
Amenities, yeah,
and foot traffic coming in. So I'm doubling and tripling my commission just by being in a bigger gym. So I'm a general manager, small gym. We're dominating. Like we're hitting 120% of our goals.
Is there places to work out? Because if you're filling it up, like, is there equipment?
So the gym that I got promoted to, the bigger one, it was probably like 3 miles away. So they had access to use both.
Okay.
So they can go over there. They sign up over here. Maybe they live close.
Because I'm thinking, like, if you selling all these memberships, where cats gonna work out at?
Well, the
squat rack's taken. The dumbbells are taken.
The thing about the gym, when you sell someone a membership, 85-90% of the members after 2 months just don't go.
So they get that first initial.
The New Year's. And that would be my pitch to sell them personal training. Is you would put their name in the system and saw how many times they signed up. I'd be like, Eric.
Hey, you know you only been 3 times in these last 3 months.
Like, I would tell them, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't sell you a gym membership. And I would tell them they got to go to the competition because we only want people here who are serious about their goals. I'm like, look at this screen. You signed up 7 times every year. You come in here, you sign up. What's different this year? So that's indifference. So by me pushing them away, makes them want it even more. And
no, I'm gonna do better.
No, what's going to be different this time? The only way is for you
Is
to
if you get training. Yeah,
and that's where the big money was.
You got to commit.
Right.
Right.
So you asked me, how did I make allies within the company? Is I would help them close their deals.
And then the trainers are benefiting too, because now they're getting more clients.
Big time.
See, I like what you said. I don't want that to go over people's head. You make the goals bigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bar. That's a gym.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, a gym and a gym, GYM. No, it's a real valuable insight, because sometimes, like you said, man, we're gonna get into that too, because I watched a little bit about being too comfortable. Mm-hmm. But you're saying if you set the goals really high, you're always gonna be striving to do more.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, I like that though. I think that's something that people need to put that in their mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just paying bills and going on vacations.
Yeah.
So you're killing it with the memberships. What's the next phase?
So, yeah, I'm working there, and then I get a call from an old buddy from that first company that I knew him from, and he had gotten to a higher position in the solar company. And he pretty much hit me up and said, the prisoners are running the prison now. I'm in here. I got the keys. And he got me in, and it was a position in Vegas. So I left the gym and went into the solar business. And at the time, it was the best. Like, I made double the money that I made in the gym. But more importantly, I had more freedom and flexibility at a time. I worked from home. I went into the office one day out of the week and just could make it to soccer games. I just needed to be available, but I can be more present. I'm not,
How are you making the big money and not having to be there so much? That's my question.
I was in management, so I acquired the skill set of training sales reps, teaching them how to be good and getting their skills up to par. And that's what truly gives you the freedom of time. When I'm in the sales position, you can make a lot of money in doing sales, but it's like being a barber. If you're not selling, you're not making any money.
So I like that. You've got the skill set. So instead of you dealing with the customers directly, you're dealing with the people that are going after the customers.
Correct.
So that frees you up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's like opening a bunch of different stores. Now I got reps all over the place selling. There's no way. Like,
you can't be in all those places at once.
Yeah, we're on pace to like 900 sales this month. There's no way I could do 900 sales. No matter, physically, I would not be able to do it.
No, you can't.
Even if all 900 were saying yes and they wanted and sign me up. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you gotta create systems.
Correct.
So you get into management. You get into management there, and everything's going along smoothly. But then there was a snag with the company. Mm-hmm. What happened?
So in Vegas, it was they voted for Vegas to be eliminated. I mean, solar to be eliminated in Vegas.
And what's crazy is that's a desert. You would think they get a lot of sun. Like, why wouldn't they need the electricity? That's the part I don't understand.
Politics, Nevada Energy was losing a lot of money to solar. People going solar. I mean, in Vegas, people had to get on payment plans to pay for their summer bills. So they would still be paying off summer and fall and winter.
There's big money involved.
Man, the bills are ridiculous. And now you're looking at the utility company losing out on all that profit. Yeah, and it was booming out there in Vegas. So before I took the job, if you listen to the radio or watch TV or whatever, they talked about it for months before it happened.
You still hear the ads, and you go online and you see cats, and it makes sense, especially if you live in areas like SoCal or even Nevada or Arizona. It gets a lot of sun, so you would think it would be beneficial. But
what I meant by they were talking about solar being canceled at that time. Oh, okay. There. So before I took the job in the interview, I brought that up, and I said that's my only concern. And I explained my position and why I moved out there and all of that. And the lady who hired me, she reassured me. She's like, man, that happens in every market that we go to. It'll be fine. And 4 months later, 10,000 people lost their jobs. Yeah.
So
then
now what?
So then they said, They're gonna peel it, they'll turn it around. We're gonna send you to this. So they gave me a company car. They paid for me to, at the time, this is my first time ever using Airbnb, but they got me an Airbnb for like 3-4 months in Solana Beach in San Diego, right there on the beach. And I was back to going back and forth to Vegas. So
what's crazy is you went out to Vegas so you wouldn't have to go back and forth. And of all the places, they send you back to SoCal. Maybe not Orange County, but San Diego. Mm-hmm. And now you're doing the commute thing back.
Commute. I'm driving to San Diego Sunday night, leaving Wednesday afternoon, and then I'm in Vegas until Sunday night, and did this for damn near a year straight.
Yeah, he was on that road, and trust me, I know San Diego traffic because you got to pass Temecula, then Murrieta, then you got.
Yeah, it was rough at times, but again, your mentality and how
the big goals,
not just that, and how you your perspective, how you look at things. So at first, I was frustrated because that 4 hours every week, it was taxing at first, and then I changed my paradigm and how I looked at the situation. I'm like, you know what? This is a great time for you to call family members that you don't talk to that often because you're always busy. And I'm able to have like long, intimate, good conversations with cousins, siblings, mom,
you just
dad.
hop on the call. Yeah.
Yeah, and talk. So I had a system. I talked to someone or a couple of people for the first hour and a half. And then I had my podcasts and stuff that I would listen to and learn from and create my meetings from.
What were some of the podcasts you like, or books you might have?
Man, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but anything in regards to sales, mindset, leadership. So what's his name? David Goggins. I would listen to a lot of that, and I would switch it up. Joe Rogan podcast. I would listen to that, and people that I think that would offer some information that would be useful for me in my line of work. So for me, I remember Lil Wayne listening to him, and he said when he thinks of his raps, he looks at everything that he encounters in life and he tries to position it into a rap. So if he's getting ketchup and he sees that, he looks at ketchup and his mind works at catch up, and he just figures out a way to turn it into double entendre or something.
Yeah, like how I was saying gym, it's a gym, and then it's
exactly.
a gym, like a GEM and a GYM.
So he trained his mind to everything that he's looking at and dealing with. He's trying to figure out something as far as a rap.
I don't want to let that go over people's heads either. You went from looking at that 4-hour commute, like that drive, and it's like, man, it's taxing, versus like, people get real fixated on one side of how things can be. Mm-hmm. But you switched over and said, no, man, I can reach out to family members. I can learn. I can study. I can get into podcasts. I can get into audiobooks.
Pay bills.
You can pay bills. There's a lot you can do.
Have to be on hold for 30 minutes.
Are you like, that's fine. Yeah. Like when you try to actually reach the attendant or the staff member, and you're like, well, it's going to be a 30-minute hold. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And that helped me in traffic and all that. And I did. So I had a system. I did it at the end because I learned doing it in the middle. I was hitting pockets where I would lose signal and then the call would drop. And then now it was
because when you're getting to like past Victorville and getting
so
further into the desert,
those
calls could drop. Okay, so you're doing the commute thing. You're always finding a way to turn a negative into a positive. And then what was your break like? When did you transition from doing that to
this? Yeah, so it was easy after. So the solar company that I was with, they did like a hiring for they were looking to go public, and there was a lot of changes that were happening within the company. So they went on a freeze as far as hiring. And for about 3 months, we were unable to staff our teams. And what was frustrating, because when I was in Vegas, I started off killing the goal. So I was making so much in bonus money those first 3 or 4 months. And then I moved to San Diego. They do a hiring freeze, and they're keeping our goals here, but they're only allowing us to have staff here. So the amount of reps that we had, it wasn't achievable. And they wanted you to get close to it and not hit the goal. That benefits them.
It's a moving target.
Yeah.
So you're getting close, not hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
They're making money, but now you're like, dang, like I could be making even more if I had the staff that I need.
Of course. Again, no control in that environment. So yeah. So where was I at? They
got this moving target.
Yeah, they had a hiring freeze. So they took us to this really nice hotel, wine us and dine us. We stayed a couple of days and we had a meeting, a game plan, and they're like, we're lifting the hiring freeze. We have the budget open now. And prior to that, they allowed us to buy stock for the low before it went public, for the low in the company, all of that. So we have that meeting and we're fired up. We get back. I go back to the office. I hire like 7 people. I'm in the field training them. And within 2 weeks, we all get laid off. The whole sales, everybody.
How does that come about? Is it an email? Is it a call? Like, how does it?
Yeah, so we got an email. So I'm coming back from Vegas and I get an email from corporate office telling me to come to the corporate office. I've never been to the corporate office. So right off the bat, the red flag was there.
Like, here we go.
And they're very vague in the email.
Hey, just come to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
so I messaged them, I can't. I have meetings that I have squared away. And then they just reiterated, like, we need you to come to the office. And so I try to ask, what is the meeting for?
They ain't gonna tell you.
She's like, we'll talk to you when you get here.
Sure.
Just make sure you bring your laptop. And I already knew what time it was then. And I show up there and I see my boss and I can see his countenance. He already knew my boss's boss and just everybody, and I was one of the top performers in the company. I thought I was the last one to get fired. I didn't think that, but
it happened.
It happened. So prior to that, maybe a few weeks before, my business partner now, before starting this, he had hit me and he had stayed in the door-to-door game and somehow got connections to getting master contracts. What that means is these clients, these Fortune 500 companies will allow us to represent them and sell their product. So they vet and they screen. They don't let anyone just, represent their brand. So he got access to that through him just staying and networking and whatnot. So he hit me and was like, man, it's my last hoorah. Let's do this. And at the time I'm driving back and forth, I'm like, bro, I'm spread thin. There's no way I can give any energy or time into starting a business. I got this and the stuff going on. And then 2 weeks later, I'm laid off and I hit him up. I'm like, man,
yo,
let's do it.
Hey, you my boys though, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
It's like a movie.
Mm-hmm. And it all worked out. And the rest was history. We started this almost 8 years ago.
It's been 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you've been grinding for a minute.
Yeah. 8 years ago, started off in his parents' garage, hustling. Guys was coming up and picking up their paychecks through a backyard in a garage, writing manual checks.
Did you have to get into the field when you transitioned?
100%.
So how did you grow from there? Like, okay, you got out of the solar gang, 2 week notice. Your business partner who you have now calls you got these master contracts. Where do you how do you grow a business? Like, where do you start?
Man, so initially it was just personal recruiting, people we know. Like, hey, come work with us. We'll pay you this much. We'll teach you. Go in the field. We train them, and they're making money, and then they refer friends. So that's how we organically started growing until we got to a point in which we hired a recruiter, and now she has a full-on team, and they post ads on Indeed. We interview them, bring them in, screen them, and then hire them. So
is it your company or is it like a partnership or?
No, it's someone that we've trained internally. So the beauty of this business is it's all vertical. Everything is created within. So we do our own installation. That's how we save money. We have our own back office that handles all the customer service processing of sales. We have our own recruiting department that's trained by us. So everything is just in-house. So yeah, she recruits for all of our markets now.
What's your area?
So we're in Florida. We're in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. We just expanded into Atlanta, Georgia. Texas. We're in Dallas, Austin, soon to be Houston.
So like the Sunshine Belt.
Kinda, yeah. And
is anything south?
Well, we got Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And then California.
All of California or SoCal?
SoCal. We're going to be in the San Jose soon. In the next probably like 2 months in San Jose.
And what exactly, like, for people that don't know, you do like the direct TV, or is it internet? Is it?
Yeah, so we work with all of the telecom and internet companies.
Okay.
So Comcast, Cox Cable, AT&T, Verizon Business, Spectrum, and yeah, we depending on the market that we're in, our job is to get our customers new business.
Okay.
You know, so our pitch is easy to these clients saying, hey, Spectrum, do business with us. You don't have to pay us until we actually bring you business. So we represent all of those companies, and depending on the area that we're working in, we sell that service to the small business. So if you're barely opening up, we sell it to you. If you're unhappy with the service you have, we find the pain points and we flip you to a different company. So it's a one-stop shop. Whatever they need, we're able to help them with that.
Wow, that's like, man, it sounds like it's a lot, because you just mentioned like a lot of big markets.
Yeah.
Even SoCal on its own is a huge market.
Yeah.
How do you manage all that?
A great team. You know, we have a great team of leadership. Our leadership is the reason how we're able to do this. So what makes our company unique is we're actually, the sales is what we do, but the team building and the structure within our comp plan and how it's set up is our secret sauce. It's like the companies that we represent, they're always asking, how do you have such young, sharp, motivated guys within your company? How do you keep these guys motivated? They haven't even cracked the code to keep their own internal people motivated. And it's purely because how we structured our business and the comp plan. So
It's like you're incentivizing these cats to stay hungry.
yeah, well, we put the money, there's money in sales. You can make money in sales, but the true money is in team building, because we give them passive income, a percentage of the company, which they earn off of each sale now, and it allows them to, just be in a leadership role, and they don't have to physically go and sell anymore, and they can have freedom and flexibility. So
you're taking care of people, so then they want to continue doing good work.
taking care of them, giving them opportunity to advance and move up into a leadership role, and that's the only way we're able to expand. We got to put people on. If we're the only ones making money.
I'm going to say this a lot. Don't let that go over your head. He's giving cats an opportunity and putting them on, and not keeping everything to himself.
Yeah.
So then that's allowing him to expand. Because if you're trying to keep all the information and keep all of the big clients, you got to do all the work.
Right.
So at least you're getting cats in your network, and like you said, team building, leadership, roles that they can develop into, you just continue to expand.
100%.
See, that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of companies, a lot of people that get in position, they kind of like gatekeep.
Yeah.
And they don't want to, give up like you said, the secret sauce. And even these big companies that you're doing business with are trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not empowering their people.
Yeah, well, in those companies, it's just, what have you done for me lately? Every month, it's sale, new numbers, goal, sale, new numbers, goal. And eventually the money is not as motivating anymore. You kind of get accustomed to a certain amount of money, and it just becomes regular and normal. So then where is the motivation coming from if they're not motivated? They've been doing it a couple of years now. It's just no excitement to it. How do you incentivize them? Well, on our end, we incentivize our people by putting them in a position of leadership, and they can continue to grow that passive income, and that's motivating in itself. Plus, it puts them in like a boss position. They get to manage a team and be in a leadership role.
The term "boss up," you're literally empowering them to do that.
For sure.
See, that makes sense. Again, to me, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Man, your story is crazy. So to just pause here for a second, if you have questions or want to reach out to Stephon, what would you like? I know you're in the process of growing your business and having people join your network. Where would they reach out to you if they're in sales and they're not happy where they're at?
For right now,
for right now,
any of my social media handles, it's under my name, Stephon Seals, StephonSeales. So all platforms, you can find me there.
And they could just shoot you a DM and
Yeah, just shoot me a DM.
Okay, and if you're serious, he'll definitely reach out to you, and you guys can work something out. I want to touch on the Cali thing.
Okay.
So Cali Muscles. So that's how Stephon and we met. We're part of the tribe. Shout out to Cali Muscles. Shout out to Hyphy YT.
Yes, sir.
Man, we appreciate you guys. You guys, I want to get into it because they started the tribe. Cali Muscle, he had his health scared. He transitioned from selling supplements to doing social media and helping, guys like you and I learn some of the skills to market our business. I have a business, Scout Fragrance. We're going to get into that, but what made you want to join the tribe?
Well, I mean, I had heard of Cali and followed him years ago, and I knew that at first I looked at him and I'm like, man, this guy's been doing it for a long time. To stay relevant and to continue to, grow your channel after all these years, like, why wouldn't I want to learn from him? So that's one. And two, from a business perspective, I saw the opportunity. We have 7 habits or kind of values that we have within our company. And the 7th one is understand your opportunity. That's either with a sale when it's time to close the deal, or just really understand the opportunity you have here within our company to perform. So when things are tough, you got to really focus on the bigger picture. So with that situation, I really saw the opportunity.
Don't let it go over your head. Yeah. Understand opportunity.
Yeah, so I saw that, and I knew Cali, he has a track record of being successful. So I know he's going to blow this up. And I'm like, man, I want to get in first because yesterday's price is not going to be today's price.
I agree.
So I figured get in first, network with him. That first love is always, you remember that? I'm his first client, Cali. I'm his first ever client in this. So
how did it go about? Like you get on the CaliMuscle.com website, you reach out. Like, how did that conversation go?
Yeah, so I think I put my information in the ClickFunnels. It was like late night. I'm just on my phone surfing, and I found it and I put it in there. And then the next day, I received a call, but it said Cali Muscle. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's probably like back office, somebody else. So I didn't answer it. And because I put my name in there, but I didn't really know if I was.
You think you might get a call a week later? Or?
And not just that. I wasn't 100% serious about it, but I don't know. I'm like, let me see.
It did spark your interest.
It did. So I think a day or so went by, and he called.
You can tell it's him, huh?
Yeah, it rang. It said Cali Muscle.
What's up with it, boy? What's going on?
And that's what got me, man. I'm like,
you ready to blow up your social media? Like, it's really him, huh? I know
it's a good invitation.
Yeah, well, I got that boisterousness.
Yeah. So he called me, and I was surprised that it was him on the phone, and we chopped it up, and I signed up for the program. The elite? Which one is it?
You're probably at the top of the.
So I'm at the elite now, but it was the one where
you're at the
weekly class.
Yeah, the top tier.
The tribe, whatever the tribe is. So I signed up for that one and got on my first call on Sunday. And
not stop you there, but don't let that go over your head. Cali gets on the calls. Mm-hmm. Hyphy gets on the calls. Yeah. They're not outsourcing it. So they're really getting on the calls. And again, I don't want this to be a commercial for them, but even me, the reason why I signed up as well is a lot of these influencers, a lot of these cats selling courses, they've already outsourced it. Mm-hmm. They're not hopping on the calls. These guys are, got their hands all in it because they really do want to see you succeed. So. Right. You jump on the Sunday call. Yeah. On the Zoom.
So I signed up on a Wednesday. Sunday's the first call. We hop on the Zoom, and he's like, "Everyone, we gonna practice and do a commercial." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I don't know what to say, and did that. And then that's when he introduced the program. He's like, "We're gonna be having a program here coming soon." Yada yada yada. And he said the price, and I can kind of look on the call. When he said how much it was, I saw people's face just kind of drop. I'm like, nah, man, I gotta seize this opportunity. I gotta do it. So I told my niece, and I talked to my wife.
Shout out to your niece. What's her name?
Her name is Jada.
Jada. Shout out to Jada.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jada. Yo, she's.
I don't know if she.
No, but we gotta shout her out because she's doing her thing. Because your content is next level.
She is.
And the nice thing is now that you have some of this information, you're gonna be able to maintain it.
Yeah, man, my niece is doing a wonderful job with helping me level up, and it's good to work with my niece. You know,
I agree.
exercise a little nepotism.
Hey, you know what? It's good to do a business with people you trust. And, this is a skill set that she can learn. And, hey, people that need content, you can reach out to Stephon and maybe he'll put you in touch with Jada. I'll just leave it like that. But nonetheless, you hop on the call. You saw people's face kind of drop because he was like, you try to blow it up, it's going to cost a certain amount, right? And I agree.
100%.
Yesterday's price isn't going to be today's price. So you say, you know what, I'm a stab at it. So you went with it, and
So yeah, talk to my niece, talk to my wife. My wife was just like, just do it, So I had
the new wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to the new wife. Shout out to the ex-wife and the new wife.
Slow down.
That's me talking. That's not Stephon talking.
Yeah. No, but I talked to her. She's like, do it, and it was like on a Monday night when I made the decision I was going to do it. But I'm leaving to Texas on a work trip Thursday. So I told my niece, I'm like, let's just do it. Let's link up with them Wednesday. At first in my head, I'm like, just wait till you get back,
That procrastination.
You just want to put it off. And
it can be uncomfortable getting on camera, especially this is not something that this wasn't your skill set. Your skill set was sales, but now learning social media is a whole new skill set.
100% new skill set and commitment time, all that stuff that
you got a newborn.
Newborn.
So shout out to the newborn. You got a boy or girl?
Girl.
Got another girl because you already had your first start. Is she still playing soccer or?
Yep, it's her last year.
Okay, shout out to the first one and shout out to the new one.
Right
so
on.
Yeah. So you decided not to procrastinate.
Nah, it's like, let's just do it. Let's just go Wednesday.
And that's, again, it's funny because that's how Callie talks to. No procrastination. Sign up today.
Yeah.
So that made you.
And we was out there on Wednesday. We got out there. We were meeting him at 6 a.m. at the gym.
Okay.
We pulled up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
How was it when you first, what was your initial thoughts when you first were like, oh man, this is Callie?
He just seemed real. It was easy to talk to him. He seemed real genuine and humble. And he's professional, man. The dude was ready to work.
He's not how I feel like some people on the internet, he may have come across a certain way, but in real life, man, he's the real deal, man. This cat is polished. I've met Callie. I've had an interview with him. The interview's on our Scout Fragrance website. I'm sorry, Scout Fragrance YouTube channel. We got an interview with him, Hyphy Whitey, and his wife. So shout out to my video guy, Keith, Thoroughbred 33. We got the interview with Hyphy Whitey. So just a little plug for what I got going on. But no, man, he's a solid cat.
He is. You can tell right off the bat that he's genuine. He cares. But more importantly, what I pay attention to with him is when he puts his name on something, he wanted to make sure that it's top tier. And he went above and beyond to make sure my stuff was on point. And the downside of me going sporadically is I wasn't prepared. If I could do anything different, I probably would have asked more questions as far as preparation.
The content looks great.
It does look great.
And the skit, who came up with that?
So I came up with the initial idea, and then we just kind of, what I originally wanted to do, Callie just improv'd and made it, he did what he does.
Now that you've done, now that you've made some content, and you got the thumbnail going and you got the shorts going, how many calls have you gotten because of it?
So I've gotten quite a bit of people inquiring about the business or the position, and then just a lot of followers, a lot of views. Like everything has just gone up substantial. I've been hitting record number of views for myself. Before I was only achieving 90, 100. Now I'm seeing views, surpass that.
Would you say that Now that you're doing the content, like, what were some of the things that you were apprehensive about? Because I know there's that feeling. It's like, well, I don't want to be famous per se, but I'm doing it for business purposes. But then also too, when we talked, and I'm gonna get into how you and I got to this point. But what were some of the things that were kind of like maybe limiting beliefs that you had initially?
It's just getting comfortable with a camera on you all the time. You know, my wife, she calls me Boogie. And if you've seen the movie Paid in Full, Ace Boogie makes boss moves, but he tucks his chain in, keeps everything real low key. That's how I operate. I don't really try to stand out, and I don't want to be the
Even
one.
how you're dressed, you're not like a flashy guy.
Yeah,
you're just trying to handle business.
Handle business and just be low key. And I just see all the BS that's on social media. I don't really want to be involved in that. And I know I had a taste of it when I first got my bulldog. I created an account for her and was just taking pictures of her and building her page. And I got a small taste of, it affects your emotions, man. I would go and take her to the beach and set up thought I was doing everything right. And that picture would get a couple of likes. And then I just take a random one in the house, and that one gets all the love.
1,000, yeah.
So I found myself waking up constantly looking to see what was the feedback from my followers, and I don't know, it would put me in a different emotional state. I would get frustrated again, almost like at the beginning of the sales. I'm not successful. I was getting frustrated with it. But more importantly, I'd rather have the money and not be famous.
Right.
I don't want to be famous. I don't want people to know who I am. That was my limiting belief. I didn't want that. And yeah, so that's what would really give me pause about moving forward with the social media.
The thing that I learned too with social media is there is a science to it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people, when you're first getting into, creating content, it can feel a little bit like a whole new, like a foreign thing, like when you were saying how you went from one industry to the next, like how you went from working in the hospital and then transitioning into office sales. It's like when you're getting into social media, it's like you don't know where to start. You're like, well, what do I like? And then you're seeing it, but it's not really, it's like, what do I do? Like, what do I post?
Yeah.
What should I post? Should I do short? Should I do long form?
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be a little bit.
That's where the investing in with Cali, because I learned a lot of back end stuff that I had no clue about, and then the light bulb will come on. Like, oh, okay, I see now. I see how people are going viral. He has 15 years of experience. He's crunching that in a short period of time and helping you save, time from having to learn through trial and error. But I don't know how long it would have took for me to figure that out. And what I'm noticing is the platforms, they're changing, and the rules and the algorithms are changing much faster than what they used to. So you got to be able to pick up the information as you go. And for some people just getting started out, it's really tough to, get that momentum going. So yeah, that was a part of the discouragement too. It's just, a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people suffer from that. They're posting and putting in their full effort and not really seeing much.
Not seeing no traction. No, there is tricks to it. And I believe that Cali, to me, he's one of the only guys on the internet that are actually going to be there, like literally telling you what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And the title for the second, we have a 2-part interview with Cali, and the title for our second part is people think I'm being harsh. He does have a harshness about how he talks if you're not mentally kind of like ready for that. But once you realize what he's saying, you're like, okay, it's making sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not going to be like nice about it or whatever, but when he says it and then you actually apply it, you see that you're going to get more views, more interest in your product. So I have, an online business. That's why I went into it. I have an online business, I have a Shopify store, and my goals are the same thing. Like I wanted to market my business. I'm not just on social media just to be famous. I wanted to get on here and represent, myself, my family. I want to help the people that I do business with. Keith has a brand that he's going to be launching soon. and helping content creators. I have a friend that does real estate who needs help. I have friends that do insurance or the business services, getting your LLC and that sort of thing. So yeah, like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I got into it too. So once I started realizing, okay, it's not just about me, it's about learning these skills so I can help others that may need it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then on top of that is, like, I love what you said about having the big goal. You know what I mean? Like, having the big goal will keep you locked in, so then you don't get distracted with some of the small stuff, the hurdles that kind of come about with creating content.
I had to shift my paradigm. I went from thinking like, man, I don't want all these people to know me, and I don't want, privacy taken away, to actually looking at it from a positive outlook of it, and how many people I can reach, and the message and the business that I offer, how it benefits people's lives, stimulating the economy, giving out more jobs.
Hey, I touched on it too. I mentioned Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, and they have a podcast, Nightcap, and shout out to them. They're doing very well. But to see intelligent Black men that are working together, I think people want to see that. That's just my take on it. And, we're not promoting violence. We're not gossiping. We're not talking about, what's going on in the news. We're talking about business. We're talking about making content, helping the people that can directly benefit from it, getting people jobs, expanding their mindset, having goals, and not letting, little things to take you out of your emotional state to where you're making a rash decision that will prevent you from getting to your goals. And that's why I believe with making the content, I'm trying to keep it all business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get into, the politics or, the gossip stuff and, what's going on in the recent news. I won't even mention what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think that you as a business person, as a husband, a father, and an entrepreneur, man, it's inspiring. And that's why, so that's kind of how I reached out to Stephon and say, hey man, like, let's do an interview style podcast, because your first one with Callie is great.
Yeah.
And if I encourage people to go watch it, but I feel like a lot of people need to hear more about what you have going on.
Yep. And
that's why I reached out. And you're in the SoCal area, but you do some traveling, or you more outsource it to your managers?
We share it. Like, I still like to get out and go and visit the other markets, meet with them, take the managers out to dinner and spend some time with them. Still hands-on in that regard. I love the game. I love the relationships that we build.
It's funny because when you mentioned paid in full, I love the game.
Man.
I love the hustle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you can't.
I can retire. When he said I can retire.
Yeah, I'm like Jordan out here.
They still
I don't want to mention what they was doing, but yeah, I was in sales too, man. I sold cars, and I worked in radio. I worked at Coca-Cola, big name companies. So I know about sales and pushing the product. But
when you think about it, everything is sales.
Everything is sales.
You're persuading and in all interactions in what you're doing. You sold your cameraman to come here today and free up his time. Here you got your Scout fragrance here. We're always closing. You sold me on coming and shooting this podcast.
A little product placement.
Yeah. And this episode, or shooting this content.
Yeah, I wanted to shoot it because, again, I feel like people needed to know more about you. And like I said, two Black men in business, doing business, and we're not gossiping, we're not promoting, nothing. I just feel like you said, you say a lot of nonsense in social media. I feel like a lot of it is nonsense, man. And my thing is create content. Don't just consume it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are literally just online, just consuming content.
Well, those are the people that have the time that provide the BS. When you hustling and grinding, you don't have time for it.
No, you don't.
I have no time for, any of that. And, so, I mean, for us doing business and being entrepreneurs and hustling, like that's how it should be. And I tell the guys who work with me that if you want to stay in front of this inflation in America, you got to get into a business that's going to continue to give you opportunity to grow.
And what better business? Telecommunications, that's not going away. So, Stephon, man, I appreciate you, brother. Again, if they want to reach out to you, it's Stephon Seals, like Seals the Deal. and you're on all platforms.
Yep.
Shout out to your niece,
Jada.
Shout out to Jada. Shout out to my man Keith, Thoroughbred 33, Scout Fragrance. Let's get it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Yeah, man, just tune in. Share this information. We're gonna chop this down into shorts, and it's gonna be on long form and in short form content. But share it. If you have a question, leave a comment. If you like the content, leave a like. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.
I really do. And if you want to support more content like this, go to scoutfragrance.com. This is Mont Blanc Explorer Ultra Blue. We have it in travel size forms. That's really my niche, is travel size fragrances. Yeah. What is your go-to? Because I remember I talked to Stephon, and he's like, he's all naming that high dollar stuff. I said, look, man, I got to start with the Mont Blancs and
my wife actually buys my stuff. What is she at? I don't even know.
I think you mentioned like Creta Ventus.
Yeah.
What is your go-to fragrance?
I forget what's in there. I don't know. I don't know.
You just grab it and spray.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a few.
Have you gotten one for your wife as a gift?
No. But I need to.
He's too busy making that money.
Her birthday's coming up.
Okay,
so.
We're going to talk off camera. I'm going to give you some suggestions.
Yeah.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.
Again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Go to Stephon's YouTube channel. Run the numbers up. We appreciate you.